My name is Anna and welcome to my very ugly bathroom. 2.5 years ago, we moved into this house and I'm finally ready to start putting my touch on spaces and designing everything to my liking. When we moved in, the house really needed a lot of work. Really ready to start making it feel like a home and start putting my touch on things. So come on in and let me show you what I'll be doing. So before we moved in, we found out that the shower wall had mold growing behind it. So we ended up having to rip all of that out and getting tile put in. So the tile you see behind me is brand new, 2.5 years old. I do like it. It's not necessarily my style, but it is quite classic. It's just a white subway tile and it does have a black feature that matches the vanity. Like I said, it's not necessarily my style, but it is what I had to choose from at the time. The house is owned by a family member and we rent from them. So I can do upgrades and I can do some DIY projects, but I want to make sure that I get the okay, and I also want to make sure that I'm not spending a huge budget. I've actually painted this room twice. The first time that I painted, I tried to do a clay effect without using clay. The reason why is because I thought it would be easier to paint over if I didn't like it. And I was right about that. It was definitely easier to repaint. But I think because I didn't use the proper materials, that's why it just turned out really badly. It was really glossy and honestly very orange. It just wasn't really the color for me. So what I did do was I repainted the room in sculptor's clay, and this is what you see now. I think though, because of the other elements and things just not really being complete, I feel like right now it looks a little bit odd, but we're going to keep it in the mood board and try to make it work with the space. If it just doesn't at the end, then maybe we'll look for a new color. Part of the flooring had water damage from a leak, which you can actually see right here, and a little bit behind the toilet. I'll bring you along, but I am going to have my dad help me put the flooring in, so I won't be filming, but I can take lots and lots of pictures and kind of explain the pictures after. The other thing that I have to do is this leak made me put a lot of holes in the wall. I also have on this wall here a 1980s mirror. It's kind of in a weird position. It's across from the vanity and it's just never really worked. So I do really want to take it out and replaster the whole area. So my final project will be this vanity. Right now it's a red cherry wood, and while that can be really gorgeous in many homes, my home has a lot of medium toned with kind of purple undertoned woods. I don't have a lot of red undertone woods. So I'm going to be sanding this down and using the stains that I have. I want to use up as much product as I have. I don't really want to buy a whole lot new. The vanity mirror also needs to be replaced, or not replaced, but just restained. And I'm hoping to match it with this, so everything's kind of very cohesive. All in all, I think that this bathroom can look really great and can look gorgeous, but I do need to stop dreaming about this bathroom in my head and just put my hands to work and get it going to become that bathroom. I want to make these videos because I think that it'll kind of force me to do stuff, and I also think that I'll be really proud of myself kind of seeing the before and after of the projects that I do. So thanks so much for watching if you've made it this far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Here's my mood board. You'll kind of see what I'm going for here. I'm going for a lot of medium toned woods, some blacks, some browns, and some whites. I just want everything to be really clean, but I also want a little bit of fun. So I'm gonna insert that with mixing metals, having some fluted glass, and maybe some unexpected wallpaper in the drawers. What I'm doing first is removing the mirror, and it's mostly just figuring out how it's attached. So this mirror is a medicine cabinet. It was built into the wall And it's mostly just a lot of unscrewing and figuring out what's holding it back. My number one tip is to cut at the paint where the medicine cabinet attaches to the wall, just so that when you remove it, it doesn't rip the paint up on the wall and you have an even bigger job. Once I'm done this, you'll see me measure the holes so that I can cut for drywall pieces. You'll also see me cut for those drywall pieces, and I'm maybe not doing it in the safest way that I possibly could, so please cut on a table when you're using any kind of electric saw. Do as I say, not as I do. Here I am actually putting the drywall pieces into the wall now. You don't actually need as many screws as you might think that you do. It's mostly the plaster that's going to keep them in place, but the screws are kind of anchoring them. So once I have that, you'll see me use fiber tape. It's not very sticky, but it holds the filler in where you need it to, especially when there's bigger gaps than what you wish. You can also buy square fiber patches, but I find them a little bit expensive for how much I do patching in this house. So you'll see me put all of the edges, and where there's gaps, you'll see me put that, and then you'll just see me fill it in with filler paste. I like to use the professional grade. I don't really like using the pink that fades to white as it dries. I just find that sometimes it shrinks and my holes don't actually get filled as great as they are. The stuff that I'm using here, the professional grade, it's only about $1 more, and I find it goes a little bit further. You want to also make sure that you're feathering the edges all the time. Your first coat is going to be super messy and super thick, but just feather it out on the edges where you actually don't need to fill. When you sand, you'll do the same thing. You'll feather the edges so that it's all really seamless. You're going to patch more than you need, do more coats than you need. The part behind the toilet that you see me doing, that took about 2 coats, and the part that you see me doing now, that was 3 or 4, but I do think that I should probably do another one. The good thing about patching is you can keep going. It's never actually done. You can keep perfecting it and getting it to what you want. So you'll see me now, I'm attaching these 2x4s to the existing drywall just so that I can create an anchor to where the new drywall is going to go. And you'll see I have really, really big gaps in the top and the bottom, but all of that gets fixed when I put that fiber tape on and then fill it.
And what I have to do first is sand it with a 100 grit piece of sanding paper. And then I'm going to do a little patch test, see which of the stains that I already have looks best, and then sand off the other one that doesn't look good. Then I'm going to stain the whole thing, sand it again, stain the whole thing, and then do a very light sand. I'm going to move up with like the sanding paper. So first I'm going to start with 100 grit. Tomorrow between coats I'm going to do 150. And then for the last kind of just buff before I actually seal it, I'm going to do a 220. So the higher the grit, the finer, the like closer towards finish you get. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. I hope this goes really smooth. I don't know if it will. So we're going to try. I don't think that this is gonna work. Well, I do think that it could work. That's kind of a lie. But the amount that I had to sand for this, and now I know it's not been that long, the amount of pressure that I had to sand for this is a little bit too crazy for me to actually want to do the rest of it. And especially like the nooks and the crannies and stuff like that, like I am not going to get this done very well. So what it might be easier for me to do is just paint it. I do have some paint swatches of things that I do like. I was thinking about painting this like a while ago, so I did get paint swatches, but I just never actually did it. But I think I'm going to have to do that. So I'm going to continue sanding just like a rough sand, kind of like what I did there, so that the paint will actually stick. So I have a few swatches of what I've been thinking from a little while ago. Here they are, and they are coming up a little bit different on camera. I'll let you know that right away.
I have no idea what happened to my audio, but what I'm doing while I pick colors is I take away the colors that I absolutely hate, and I leave the ones that I'm debating up for a day or two and see them in different lights. Let me know out of the last 4 which are your favorite.
So it's been a few days now, and I'm a little behind because of a snowstorm. I didn't want to have to drive to the local hardware store just because it's half an hour away. Snowstorms, didn't want to deal with it. So now I gotta get this done in 3 days. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of time, but I'm getting the paint tonight. I'm going to be starting the paint job tonight. I gotta get some other supplies. So the big stuff I'm going to wait until I have my boyfriend to come and help me, because I don't want to carry it by myself. But how I figure out everything that I need is I really just sit in the space and just kind of think the process through. That's how I do it, and then I write a list. There's probably going to be things that I forget, but at least I have a really good starting point.
It's time to paint now. So I'm removing all of the hardware on the vanity and I'm setting up a little paint station downstairs. I'm not sure what happened to my video for painting all of the stuff downstairs, but it's gone now. For best results, use a foam roller. You can actually get these at the dollar store for quite cheap. They're really, really smooth. And then just make sure to lightly sand with a high grit sandpaper in between coats and wipe all of the surfaces clean after that sand. It just makes everything super, super smooth, super seamless. You want to do 2 or 3 coats on a piece of furniture like this that's going to be used and have a lot of wear, just so that you know if something does bang into it, you're going to have some protection. You're going to have some layers in between.
done the vanity now. I've painted it and I think it looks pretty good. Here's a little look at everything that I did. So I've done 3 coats now. Sanded in between, cleaned in between. All looks really good. Now I do need, before we start doing the flooring, I need to paint the trim. And from an old project, we have some trim here, and I might as well use what is still left over. So I'm actually going to be using this trim here. It's really, really simple and kind of goes with what we have upstairs anyways. And then we actually have like a toe bumper plate too. So it's kind of a bit more modern than I wanted. I wanted something a bit round, but honestly, if we have it, it's good enough. That saves us a bit of money. So I have to paint those now. So you will see me do that in a few minutes. I'm just gonna go get my painting clothes on and then we'll be good to go.
I always use long, thin scrap pieces of wood to get the items that I'm painting up and off the ground. I just keep these around. They're usually tucked in with my painting canvas, and I find it helps with airflow and with drips a little bit more. Right now you'll see me painting the trim for the bathroom. I'm just using some old scrap trim that we used for the basement here, just so that we can use it and I can save a little bit more money. Now finally onto the fun part, installing the flooring. This is the section that I had my dad help me with. It took us 2 days to install everything and move everything back in, but it was the perfect time to do a really good deep clean. So in these photos here, you can see the flooring damage, and we just kind of put the flooring on top of this. We made sure that there was no subflooring damage though, and then we just really stapled a lot of staples in so nothing would peel up. Here's us installing the vinyl. I only took this one photo. I should have took more, but a lot of it was math equations and just figuring out how to put them all together. And this is how it turned out. I really, really love it. Everything is so seamless. Everything looks so clean. Having baseboards, oh my gosh, I did not know how good that would make me feel. It just is a new space. It really, really, truly is. Having everything put together, it feels amazing.
So it's been a few weeks and I can't believe all this has taken me as long as it has. I have the vanity done. I love it. I have the floors done. They make it so clean in here. And having baseboards in this room is just a complete difference. I love the colors of the wall, but there's still a few things left to be done. There's still a few little things that will make it pretty again. I need to put some hooks up. I need to find a door plate. I need to get a shelf that will kind of bring things up and off the vanity. And I need to paint the mirror and change the light. So I think there will be a part 2. Not I think, there will be a part 2. And that's gonna be a little bit more fun than this one. It's gonna be thrifting. It's going to be just kind of beautifying the space. I think that if you stick around and watch part 2, you'll like it a little bit more than what you've seen today. Thank you so much for watching this video, for sticking around with me. I realized at the start of filming I was a little bit more rigid and not really myself. And even right now, maybe I'm not completely me, but I think I'm slowly relaxing, and I hope that you stick around with me and watch my next few videos. I think they're going to be really fun for me to complete, and I'm looking forward to them. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye everyone.